when I first signed with a publisher, it was 1980. And when you sign with a publisher, that's when you sort of put tentacles out and they create opportunities for you and sort of send you around to write with others and try and shop your songs. So it was, I think, 1982, a couple of years after I signed with the publisher, and I got invited to. I was living in Vancouver. I got invited to go to the city of Toronto and co-write with a band called Toronto. And so we spent a week or two coming up with a bunch of different songs. Some we started and finished, some we didn't finish. But we wrote this one song called What About Love? And at the end of it, I think there were 15 songs and only room for 12 on the album. And What About Love didn't make it. So Toronto passed on What About Love. But I did write the song with two of the members from that band, Sharon Alton and Brian Allen. So I actually forgot about the song, sort of left the session and went back home. And a couple of years later, I get a phone call that Heart have recorded the song. And as I said, I'd literally forgotten all about it. And what had happened is Toronto passed, and the song ended up on the shelf at the record company. And then the record company went bankrupt, and EMI Publishing acquired the rights to all of that record company's songs. And this fellow, Mike McCarty, listened to every song in the record company's catalog, came across What About Love, thought it might be a great song for Heart, sent it to Don Gerson in Los Angeles, who was Heart's record executive down there. Don sent it over to, who was the producer on that session? I think it was Rick Knowles, who played it for Ann and Nancy, the Wilson sisters. And I didn't know this till years later either. They hated the song. They said, in fact, Nancy got up and stormed out of the room, said, I will not record that song. And they stamped their feet and just refused. And the producer said, look, how about just record it? If you still don't like it, I promise I won't put it on the album. So they reluctantly recorded the song, and I'm not sure what happened in the interim. It ended up on the album. It ended up being not just the first single off the album, but a comeback single, because they had at least one or two albums previously that hadn't done very well, and their career was in a bit of a downturn. So it ended up being, a career comeback for them, and great for me. I mean, to have a hit with Heart, who I've always loved. And despite being a band from Seattle, they kind of grew up in Vancouver. I used to go see them playing clubs in Vancouver in the 70s when they were a exceptionally good Led Zeppelin cover band. That was what they did. And wow. and then they started writing their own songs, and the rest is history. But that song, in fact, many of my songs almost didn't happen. There's so many stories of the initial pitch getting passed on, and then later on the song finally finding its way to the right home. But anyway, thank you, Heart. I mean, I'm very grateful for that one.
Did they ever, have you ever had a chance to meet them or talk to them about it?
I did, yeah. I went and saw them perform. It might even have been in Seattle, like years and years later. And we had a little chat about it. But I didn't know the backstory about them hating the song until I read a book they released a year or two ago, sort of the authorized Heart biography, and in that they talk about hating the song, and it was quite a revelation for me because I only knew part of the story.
Oops.
Yeah, but anyway, whatever it takes. I mean, like I say, every song has a story, and when they have happy endings, all the better.